Attention car shoppers. Right now at South Carolina Federal Credit Union, you can get a new or used auto loan and pay nothing until 2024. And no payments for 90 days means nothing out of pocket going into the new year. Plus, we have flexible rates and terms, so you could make the best financial choice for you. Learn more at scfederal.org/auto loans. That's scfederal.org/auto loans. Certain restrictions apply. Existing South Carolina federal credit loans are excluded.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
This episode is powered by Poddex.
Thank you for tuning in today. You are now listening to That Will Never Work podcast with your host, Maurice Chisholm. Hello, everyone. How are you today? I thank you very much for tuning in again. We are really having fun, in my opinion, with this talk about time. And I thank you for taking out your time out the day to listen to what in the world this young kid from West Philly has to say on your radio today, whether you're listening in the, in your office, whether you're listening at home, whether you're listening in your car. I thank and appreciate for the time you have taken. And so last episode, we talked about becoming a master, right? And let me explain to you something that has come to my attention about becoming a master. Sometimes you become a master by accident, right? And, one of the things about becoming a master, it takes practice. There's something that I had read about, becoming a master. The student has to have a teacher that's very deliberate in what they're doing. And sometimes you can learn on your own, things like that, and it takes time. As we talked about, 10,000 hours of practice. But do you understand that practice is not, sometimes it's deliberate, sometimes it's not, and that's one of the things I want to talk to you about today. So for those of you, again, for tuning in, I started Chisholm Group LLC 10 years ago, February of 2012. And I wanted to help people. And I wanted to, as I talked about, hey, individual talked to me, a stranger talked to me about becoming an entrepreneur. Hey, I like computers. And that's what encouraged me to do Chisholm Group. But there was a little part of that also influenced me, so for those of you who know that Chisholm Group is small business consulting. And when you look at consulting, you're trying to help people maneuver through whatever they're trying to get through, right? And sometimes people use consulting and coaching intertwined. There's a very fine line in the difference between the two, and we can explain that a little further a little later on. But in this case, if we're looking at them almost being the same word, I look at myself as being in that position of coaching individuals for a very long time. A lot of you know that I started off in church, and one of the influences that most people have in church is the pastor, right? And the pastor is giving a word from the Bible, and he becomes a master in that, preaching every Sunday, preaching afternoon services, weekday services, Bible study. You would assume that he's putting in his 10,000 hours of becoming a master. And so he's speaking and teaching and things like that, right? And so One of the things that I enjoyed doing was helping people and encouraging people. And I had been doing that at such a young age. I was in a leadership role from the age of 12 in church. So trying to get people enthused about things and moving along and things like that. Hey, you know what? It's not as bad as you think. Won't y'all come on to do this and do that? And that's how I met my wife. I encouraged her to come and join an organization with me after my second time meeting her, first time, whatever it was. And from there, it went to something else. So I have been practicing encouraging individuals for quite some time. Yes, you have your bumps and bruises, you know, through adolescent years, teenage years, you're not sure of what you're doing and how you're doing it. And you have little pitfalls here and there. And you start to look back, you cringe a little bit or whatever else. And, but guess what? Practice makes perfect, right? As they say. And I'm hoping that these type of conversations are encouraging you to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I am a master in something. Maybe I am a living example, a walking example of going through these trials and tribulations, overcoming my pain points for me to be that influence for someone that's going through a similar situation that I am, that I have gone through, and that maybe I'm still going through, and you can see, hey, you know what? The light is at the end of the tunnel. So I can coach you through this process as I'm coaching myself. And you, even though I'm coaching you, you could be my inspiration to constantly get through. And a lot of times we don't look at that situation of how we have been coaching individuals and how people have been coaching us through the process. I hope that you take every situation, every moment as a learning experience. Some people do, some people don't. That's fine. But you know what? That's something that as you take time to analyze yourself, reflect on life in order for you to move forward, because you need to do that in order for you to get to the next level. You got to analyze where you've been to know where you're going. And so right now, as you are reviewing your life, you are reviewing your steps, as you are reviewing who you have touched and coached and consulted or whatever else, that you understand you've already probably been doing some of the things that you love to do already. And you have already taken the time, the hours and hours and hours of something that you really love to do, that you've been praying for. Again, we talked about that song, when you could take those type of situations and reflect it onto yourself and realize, I am already in that position. I'm already doing it. And I'm just using coaching for an example, but if you are someone that loves music, they talk about when I've, again, been doing research on this topic of time and understanding it. When they talk about musicians, last time I talked about chess players, but they talk about musicians and understand, hey, you know what? These moments of time of practice, of, hey, you know what? My parents been influencing me on music my whole life. There's one gentleman, he talked about how he had his son with him as he was producing music from the age of 2. And so as the son grew, he was his ear was very well tuned to music, to sing, and even for this gentleman, he talked about how how many hours it had taken for him to become a master in music. So my question to you: have you been doing it all along, and you don't realize that you really are a master already? Have you taken the time to understand that, and being a master, you have to constantly still work at it. That doesn't mean that, hey, you're a master, you can let it go and not work at it and it's just going to come naturally to you. No, that's not the case. You still have to constantly be involved in it, improve upon it, understand that times change. So getting the information to individuals or helping individuals also change. So are you a master in what you've been doing? Are you a master in one, practicing, two, executing, and delivering? Have you delivered what you set out to do? Have you accomplished what you set out to do? So, and are you implementing into your everyday life? Is it something that comes naturally, so that, you know, no matter what you're doing, i.e. like myself, I'm just a natural coach or motivator, if you will. And for those of you who understand, you know, that I talked about my book, you know, well, why not? That's my mindset. Okay, you want to do it? Well, why not? Why aren't you doing it? Hello? You know, if that's what you want to do, what's stopping you? What's holding you back? And again, getting through these pain points of understanding, like, you know what? That's not even the case. I can get through this. I can do this because I've been doing it all along. You want to be a fashion designer? Go ahead, be a fashion designer. No one's stopping you. Some people think that, hey, you know what? It's going to be hard to get into these industries and things like that. It takes work, yes. That means you got to take the time out to master what you got going on. You have to practice your pitches. You have to practice things that you're not strong in, and surround yourself with individuals that can help you with that. But in the long run, your work can possibly speak for you. It can go before you, before anyone ever hears your voice. So I challenge you today to understand, hey, are you really a master? Have you really put into practice already? Thank you very much.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.